Why being bored is okay. Well, in today's society, it's very, like, I'd say frowned upon, or it's very, bad to be bored, and people just tend to fidget or, always want something to do, which I'm very, 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 very guilty of. Like, I do this all the time. Whether if I'm bored, I'm always gonna just scroll on Instagram. I'm gonna play some game. I'm gonna do something just to keep my attention on a task instead of just being bored. It also takes away from the presence of life and trying to be present in the moment. Some people may find that always having to do something and always wanting to be okay with always doing something to be good. I feel that again, it's better to be more present. It's when you're more present with yourself that you'll really find a lot more reflection. You'll really see yourself for who you truly are because you're not constantly having your brain do something. And you're more just being more collective and still with your thoughts, if that makes sense. By being present in the moment, you're very in tune with yourself. You're not focused on every little thing buzzing around you. And that's what allows for someone to become more powerful, a lot more healthy with their own mind. I've heard it been said before by a bunch of self-improvement gurus or all the people who are oh, being bored is the best for you because it makes you do hard tasks, it makes you go and do stuff, it makes you get out of bed. And I'm like, okay, I can see where they're coming from. Although again, the self-reflection is one of the more bigger aspects of being bored. If I sit here and I sit this way and I stare at this wall for an hour without moving and without trying to do anything, within the first 10, 15 minutes, I'm going to be pretty okay, this is stupid. And I'll probably start to fall asleep. But after half an hour of just staring at that wall, I feel like I would come more into contact with my own brain, with my own thoughts, with my own feelings, rather than just subjecting myself to a bunch of small little tasks that just hogs my dopamine receptors to the point where I can't go without doing that every day. I would say that being bored is something that can definitely become a habit. And once it does become a habit, it's just bad. Because say I'm bored and I just don't do anything for an hour every single day. An hour every single day, 7 hours a week. There's 52 weeks in a year. That's, once you add it up, that's about 365 hours in a year wasted, which is just about 15 days or 2 weeks. So imagine if you lose just 2 weeks out of your year. A lot can happen in 2 weeks. You can go from being lazy, sluggish, and just not having a care in the world to being one of those you go out and run every day, you lift every day, you have a great job, you're going and you're chasing success. You can change your life so dramatically in 2 weeks. And while that's so unrealistic for a lot of people, if you can just make small significant changes every day and just be a little bit better every single day, in 2 weeks you'll become just about 15 times better than you would ever be. So while I might have been just yapping a little bit, being bored can sometimes be good, can sometimes be bad. Because again, it will lead you to self-reflect and become a better person. But if you let being bored as a habit take control of you and just being lazy and not wanting to do anything, then it will destroy you. Maybe not destroy, but it will definitely take its toll on you as a person. And while, again, now it's a constant in people's lives, it's just, why? Small different tasks that people would put into their small different tasks that people would put into a placeholder of being bored, like scrolling on Instagram Reels for 2 hours and just watching videos over and over again, if you can go and scroll for 2 hours every day and tell me at least 5 videos at the end of the day that you remember, I will give you $100 if you send that to me and say, like, at the end of the day, and say, oh, I remember 5 different Instagram Reels that I watched throughout the day with scrolling on 2 hours. Like, you're not going to remember that. You're not going to retain the information. And I feel like it's just such a big waste of time when you can be doing something better in those 2 hours. You could go have a workout for an hour, and then you could go out with friends for another hour, or you could go out and run for an hour, and then you can go and build up your website for an hour. You can go to church for an hour. And I'm not saying that with all of this time that you would spend being bored, like, if you're replacing it, you don't need to replace it with all just like self-improvement stuff, or like stuff that you feel like you're gonna grind and get after something. I feel like as long as you replace it with something more meaningful than just sitting there and scrolling, or sitting there and just doing stuff that is meaningless to you, being bored helps you find your purpose if you replace it with meaningful tasks. So to wrap it all up, being bored is okay to a certain degree. If you use it in a positive way to build new habits and to get out of a slump, then that's good. But if you let being bored take control of you and break you down, then it's just bad for you. So if you find yourself being bored, just think of the life that you want. Not saying that, oh yeah, like, this will change my life, like, this advice will change my life, but I feel like it'll definitely help you. If you sit in bed for 2 hours every day and just be bored, go out and do something. Go out and hang out with friends. Go connect with family. Go, like, there's so much outside of technology, outside of your phones, which is ironic because I'm recording this with all this different technology. But I feel like there's so much more in the world than what we see nowadays because of how technology has taken over today's society. And as a whole, stop being bored. Go out, have fun, and live your life, and be present in the moment. And I think that's the big the big message I was trying to get to. I know that you might hear a lot of this over on wherever you're watching this, but I just hope that this helps somebody, and that while some of my advice might have been stemming from other videos or other people, I hope that if you're watching this, you're able to take something from it, maybe learn from it, and maybe even put it into your everyday life. I hope that whoever's watching this has a great day. Remember to be present and live your best life.